Majjhima Nikaya, the Middle Discourses. 12 Mahāsīhanāda. 12 Mahāsīhanāda Sutta, the Greater Discourse on the Lion's Roar, Part 1, 4. 1. Thus have I heard. On one occasion the Blessed One was living at Vasaili in the grove outside the city to the west. 2. Now on that occasion Sanakata, son of the Lakavis, had recently left this Dhamma and discipline. He was making this statement before the Vasaili assembly: the recluse Gautama does not have any superhuman states, any distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the noble ones. The recluse Gautama teaches a Dhamma merely hammered out by reasoning, following his own line of inquiry as it occurs to him, and when he teaches the Dhamma to anyone, it leads him when he practices it to the complete destruction of suffering. 3. Then, when it was morning, the Venerable Sariputta dressed, and taking his bowl and outer robe, went into Vasaili for alms. Then he heard Sanakata, son of the Lakavis, making this statement before the Vasaili assembly. When he had wandered for alms in Vasaili and had returned from his alms round, after his meal he went to the Blessed One, and after paying homage to him, he sat down at one side and told the Blessed One what Sanakata was saying. 4. The Blessed One said, Sariputta, the misguided man Sanakata is angry and his words are spoken out of anger. Thinking to discredit the Tathagata, he actually praises him. 69. For it is praise of the Tathagata to say of him, when he teaches the Dhamma to anyone, it leads him when he practices it to the complete destruction of suffering. 5. Sariputta, this misguided man Sanakata will never infer of me according to Dhamma. That Blessed One is accomplished, fully enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, sublime, knower of worlds, incomparable leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. 6. And he will never infer of me according to Dhamma. That Blessed One enjoys the various kinds of supernormal power. Having been one, he becomes many. Having been many, he becomes one. He appears and vanishes. He goes unhindered through a wall, through an enclosure, through a mountain, as though through space. He dives in and out of the earth as though it were water. He walks on water without sinking as though it were earth. Seated cross-legged, he travels in space like a bird. With his hand he touches and strokes the moon and sun so powerful and mighty. He wields bodily mastery even as far as the Brahma world. 7. And he will never infer of me according to Dhamma. With the divine ear element, which is purified and surpasses the human, that Blessed One hears both kinds of sounds, the heavenly and the human, those that are far as well as near. 8. And he will never infer of me according to Dhamma. That Blessed One encompasses with his own mind the minds of other beings, other persons. He understands a mind affected by lust as affected by lust and a mind unaffected by lust as unaffected by lust. He understands a mind affected by hate as affected by hate and a mind unaffected by hate as unaffected by hate. He understands a mind affected by delusion as affected by delusion and a mind unaffected by delusion as unaffected by delusion. He understands a contracted mind as contracted and a distracted mind as distracted. He understands an exalted mind as exalted and an unexalted mind as unexalted. He understands a surpassed mind as surpassed and an unsurpassed mind as unsurpassed. He understands a concentrated mind as concentrated and an unconcentrated mind as unconcentrated. He understands a liberated mind as liberated and an unliberated mind as unliberated. 10 Powers of the Tathagata. 9. Sariputta, the Tathagata has these 10 Tathagatas powers, possessing which he claims the herd leader's place, roars his lion's roar in the assemblies, and sets rolling the wheel of Brahma. What are the 10? 10. 1. Hear, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the possible as possible and the impossible as impossible. And that 70 is a Tathagata's power that the Tathagata has, by virtue of which he claims the herd leader's place, roars his lion's roar in the assemblies, and sets rolling the wheel of Brahma. 11. 2. Again, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the results of actions undertaken, past, future, and present, by way of possibilities and causes. That too is a Tathagata's power. 12. 3. Again, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the ways leading to all destinations. That too is a Tathagata's power. 13. 4. Again, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the world with its many and different elements. That too is a Tathagata's power. 14. 5. Again, the Tathagata understands as it actually is how beings have different inclinations. That too is a Tathagata's power. 15. 6. Again, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the disposition of the faculties of other beings, other persons. That too is a Tathagata's power. 16. 7. Again, the Tathagata understands as it actually is the defilement, the cleansing, and the emergence in regard to the jhanas, liberations, concentrations, and attainments. That too is a Tathagata's power. 17. 8. Again, the Tathagata recollects his manifold past lives, that is, one birth, two births. As Sutta 4. 27. Thus with their aspects and particulars he recollects his manifold past lives. That too is a Tathagata's power. 18. 9. Again, with the divine eye, which is purified and surpasses the human, the Tathagata sees beings passing away and reappearing, inferior and superior, fair and ugly, fortunate and unfortunate. As Sutta 4. 29, 71. And he understands how beings pass on according to their actions. That too is a Tathagata's power. 19. 10. Again, by realizing for himself with direct knowledge, the Tathagata here and now enters upon and abides in the deliverance of mind and deliverance by wisdom that are taintless with the destruction of the taints. That too is a Tathagata's power that the Tathagata has, by virtue of which he claims the herd leader's place, roars his lion's roar in the assemblies, and sets rolling the wheel of Brahma. 20. The Tathagata has these 10 Tathagata's powers, possessing which he claims the herd leader's place, roars his lion's roar in the assemblies, and sets rolling the wheel of Brahma. 21. Sariputta, when I know and see thus, should anyone say of me, the recluse Gautama does not have any superhuman states, any distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of the noble ones. The recluse Gautama teaches a Dhamma merely hammered out by reasoning, following his own line of inquiry as it occurs to him, unless he abandons that assertion and that state of mind and relinquishes that view. Then as surely as if he had been carried off and put there he will wind up in hell. Just as a bhikkhu possessed of virtue, concentration, and wisdom would here and now enjoy final knowledge, so it will happen in this case, I say, that unless he abandons that assertion and that state of mind and relinquishes that view, then as surely as if he had been carried off and put there he will wind up in hell.